Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Hello and welcome to The Print. I'm Snehesh Philip, Senior Associate Editor. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh has spoken on the current standoff that is happening in Eastern Ladakh. And he says there is no meaningful outcome of the talks with China. He has also said that there is a status quo which is not a positive development, and there can't be a reduction in deployment of troops if it continues. The new year is here, the winters are also here. But remember that while we are sitting there in the confines of a home, you have thousands of soldiers deployed in Eastern Ladakh in those icy heights. And to understand the circumstances that the soldiers are operating and the challenges that they are facing, we have with us Major General Yash Mor. He was the GOC, that is General Officer Commanding of the Leh sub-area, which is responsible for the logistical issues. At the same time, General Mor was also a commanding officer who commanded the mechanized unit in Eastern Ladakh when General Panag was the Northern Army commander. Welcome to The Print, General Mor.
Thank you, Snehesh.
So to begin with, I would like to understand what is the weather as of now in Eastern Ladakh?
Snehesh, this is, now we are talking of peak winters there. And peak winters in Eastern Ladakh on the heights of, Kailash range and on north and south bank of Pangong Tso, the lake freezes absolutely. Also, the Somurari Lake, which is further to the south, also freezes. So all water bodies freeze. Every drop of water, if it falls down in the en route, it freezes. So it's extreme winters, and this kind of, you can't touch metal at all. Even the locals don't stay there. There's no one there. It's absolutely desolate. There is no greenery, and it's one of the worst areas. And humans don't venture into these areas in peak winters. So we are at absolute winters. In earlier times, troops would be very thin on ground, and we would just be having our normal surveillance. And on both sides, except for regular patrolling, there wouldn't be much of movement. But this year, it is very unique situation. We are fighting the weather, and we are also face to face with a very belligerent and hard-nosed China, which the situation since April, and we are now almost 8 months into it.
So of course, the water is frozen, which means that the temperatures are minus. Just for viewers to understand, how low does the temperature go down in Eastern Ladakh? And correct me if I'm wrong. The officers who've been posted there, they tell me that it's not just the low temperature that is the enemy, but it's also the wind chill. It's the wind chill factor is also a big thing there, right, sir?
Absolutely. In fact, the wind chill factor, when the winds blow, is bone chilling. Best of clothing, best of equipment, it just withers away a person or equipment. And it's a sandy patch, it's cold desert. So it's a unique place in the world where you have this kind of. So now temperatures could be in the range of minus 30 at the heights. And even anywhere you cross from Leh towards Eastern Ladakh, anywhere it will be minus 15 to minus 30. And of course, the wind chill factor is huge. And it's really very, very difficult to survive in those climatic conditions, even with the best of the equipment.
So correct me if I'm wrong, while people compare this to the Siachen postal, the fact is that in Siachen, we have years of experience. It's like a giant wheel which keeps rotating on its own in terms of logistics. Now, in Eastern Ladakh, especially at the northern banks and the southern banks, the Kailash ranges that we've occupied since August end, there were no logistic support that was there. You were the person who handled the logistics for the Fire and Fury Corps. So what was a preparation that has undergone into ensuring that there is proper logistic support for the forces out in the front?
But Snehesh, I must tell you, generally the logisticians don't get the credit, which is due to them. But we start winter stocking much in advance for the 102 Brigade, that is the Siachen Brigade, and also for Eastern Ladakh. An entire summer is spent on stocking for the winters. And I must tell you this, that the planning parameters are such, and the experience of the logisticians of the Fire and Fury Corps are such that we stock much more than what we need. So we were actually quite prepared for a thing like this, and hats off, really a stupendous effort done by the logisticians as far as, moving forward the logistics. And when the situation started, it was in April or so. And one of the qualities of a logistician is to be proactive. So they were proactive, and there was tremendous support from all echelons of the army, including the ministry. And we were able to, push forward all logistics that we needed much before the roads closed. And even when we, had extra troops in Eastern Ladakh, when the situation was very, very dynamic and flexible in May, June, and July, we were able to take care of, everyone who was there, every piece of equipment and every human being that was there. In fact, today I must tell you this, that as far as logistics is concerned, which includes not only rations, but also includes maintenance of equipment, the oils and lubes, because you can imagine the kind of equipment we have, plus personal clothing, plus special rations. It is absolutely top of the line. And on this issue, there is just no problem. The troops are very happy with what the army has been able to galvanize in this short period of time.
That's very good to know. General Moore, when you talk about harsh winters, and the casualties, the challenges that the troops face, but what are what kind of casualties are expected in such harsh climate? If you could just elaborate on what these soldiers could actually fall prey to.
Snehesh, there's what winters bring there. In fact, not even in summer sometimes, are basically medical issues. The main challenge there are the medical issues. And, our lines, we have one big, very good hospital in Leh. We have field hospitals which are right in the forward, with the forward echelons. But sometimes, sudden cases of heart attacks, hypertension, the high HBs, HB level goes up to 21, 25. In normal times, the best people have 15 to 16, the athlete 17 maybe. And that has its own problems. And then you have frostbites, you have chilblains, you have blackouts, and you don't know how a body will, whose body will react. Even the fittest of people I've seen suddenly collapsing there. So medical is one of the biggest challenges. And we have very good system. We have the best of the doctors posted. They're very, very passionate medical echelons all over. I must tell you this, because this hospital in Leh was directly under me. And every single casualty was reported to me. I go and see what kind of people come there and how we take care. But sometimes you want to pick up a casualty and the weather is packed up. And you have to cross this, the Ladakh range to get a casualty. You can bring a casualty to Leh sometime, and then whether to Chandigarh or Delhi is packed up. So those are the challenges. You can't fight the weather. So at times we are helpless. We have a patient. The aircraft is on the tarmac in Leh, and you can't fly to Chandigarh. So those windows are very small. So sometimes we lose people like this. But once casualty reaches the hospital, I can tell you the kind of effort the team puts in there to revive people and to take them down to the plane so that they can get good medical care. But these are vagaries of nature. And the biggest worry today is medical casualties, which, of course, have to increase because there's a density of troops has increased.
Exactly. You mentioned that at one point of time, there were very few soldiers who were posted at these areas during winters, but right now you have thousands of them posted in areas where they had not been deployed before. General Moore, one of the areas where there's a lot of focus is the southern banks of the Pangong Tso, or as one would call it, the Kailash ranges, or others would call it the Razangla Pass, the Spangur, near the Spangur Gap. how strategically important is this area, sir? We've occupied these heights on the intervening night of 29th and 30th August. And the Chinese since then have been demanding that India withdraw from these heights. Surely that the Chinese are uncomfortable about Indians being there. How significant are these heights, and what do they mean to India as a whole?
This action that Indian Army did on 29th, 30th August was brilliant move. Strategically or tactically, I think that a brilliant move to go and occupy Rechinla, Rezangla, the Spangur Gap, Gurung Hill. And these are features which look down into the Chinese cantonment, and we have a better visibility on all these passes. In fact, the key to fight a successful battle in Eastern Ladakh is occupation of these passes. So these passes have been occupied by the Indian Army in a brilliant move, and very fast they did. I think the leadership there needs to be complimented for that. However, the issue which, nobody thought that once we occupy these passes will be there for 4 months. And there will be, a kind of discussion to bring back and, get back to a peaceful LAC, which didn't happen at all. So now we are 4 months down. And the most difficult now is the occupation of this. But I must tell you that on 29th, 30th, after the meeting after that, there is just no move now. So there are tanks facing tanks at 20 meters, 50 meters. This has never happened anywhere in the world. Eyeball to eyeball troops on the Chinese border were hardly we are okay with the LC with Pakistan, but here, and they are not dug in. They are not dug in, they are on tents. And there are no tracks, for troops to be, taken care of. So carriage of water is a major issue. And a soldier surviving with 2 liters of water for a sustained period of 3 to 4 months requires amazing resilience, fortitude, great motivation, passion. This is something Indian Army, the young men and the soldiers, they every time, change the dynamics of, what an individual person can do. So these are the tanks which are there, the infantry combat vehicles, they're all loaded. And to start them, to keep them in a functional level, you have to start them at least 5 to 6 hours a day. And you can't use preheating because they're all loaded. The situation, that is what is, worry for people like me whose heart lies with the soldiers there, is that these are not normal conditions. To be sitting on tents in those areas in this winter, and it's a status quo. Imagine whatever who was there on 30th stays there. So that is the challenge. And you can imagine construction of tracks in that place, or imagine morning ablutions for a person. Normal things that we all take it for granted in our homes today in modern India. A shave, shower, all this. How do you do it? So this is really simply amazing. Nobody ever thought. So 4 months down the line, troops are occupying this strategic heights. These passes are with us. But the worry sign is that holding tanks at this height in this weather, what will happen to the equipment? You can rotate the person. 3 months we rotate a soldier from high altitude. I'm sure those things are being planned and taken care of. But what about the equipment? The tanks there, the ICVs there, the air defense guns there, artillery pieces there, signal equipment there. What will happen to it when it has seen the entire winter? And you can't maintain it, Snehesh. You can't touch metal there. So if something goes off-road, and what about normal tasks that we are supposed to do every month or 3 months on this, A vehicles of ours, tanks and ICVs, change of oils and lubes and all, just not possible in those circumstances. So that is the challenge, which the troops and the people are facing there. But I must tell you that they're highly motivated, so charged. It's so heartening. I'm telling you, we are on New Year Eve. The whole country will be, celebrating. But spare a thought for these brave men out there.
Absolutely, General. It's not just to spare a thought. One should always have them in mind, because the soldiers are out there doing the duty, protecting the borders. That's what helps for us to stay here and talk to each other and lead a normal life. General, looking forward to this, where do you see this standoff going forward? You mentioned that probably when we captured those highs on the 29th and 30th of August, we never thought that we'll have to stay there for the next 4 months. And but where do you see this going ahead?
Now, with the statement of the Raksha Mantri coming in, and so many rounds of talks, and the absolutely obstinate nature of the Chinese negotiating team there, I see a long winter ahead of us. I think we are going to be there. And if it is going to test, they wish to test the resilience and the patience of Indian soldier, they will test. I think we are in for a long haul. We are going to be staying there for the entire winter. This is peak. If we once come February, March, weather will start improving. And by then, I'm sure we will learn new lessons there. So I wish, we are able to negotiate. Chushul is a wonderful place. And since 21st November 1962, when the Battle of Rezangla finished and Chinese went back, we have never had a confrontation like this with them.
Yeah.
So it makes sense on both sides. So my feeling as a soldier is that the sector commanders there need to get back to talking terms. We had good relations with them, one-on-one relations. I've been there earlier as a colonel and now as a Major General there. We had a wonderful relations with them, but for minor patrol clashes here and there over last few years. So I'm sure military to military, they understand each other better. So that we must make an effort to talk to China, but at our terms. And we are very clear, right from top to bottom, that we need to go back to status quo ante. 20th April 2020 is the time when the situation developed north of Pangongso, and that is our stand. And I think it's a absolutely correct position to take.
Okay, so there's a feeling while China has been demanding that India withdraw from these heights, and they are looking at a barter from the northern side. Also, they'll withdraw and go back to Finger 8. However, there are many, including me, who think that India should not withdraw from these heights occupied at the southern banks or from the Kailash ranges without actually getting something substantial. And this is something that irritates China, and this should be used as a bargaining chip to go ahead and discuss other issues that are out there, including the Depsang plains, which dates back, which predates the current standoff. Absolutely. What is your take on that, sir?
See, one can see now the entire Chinese game plan. Suddenly, there's again talking of 1959, claim line. Then they're talking of, of course, you're aware of Finger 5 to 8. They've proposed a kind of zone where they'll withdraw, but we will also not be able to patrol that area.
Yeah.
And see, in Kailash range, we are sitting on our side of the LAC. We are in our own territory. So comparing this with the aggression that China has done, I think these two things don't compare at all. Okay. China has intruded into our territory, and the kind of belligerence they showed is something unpardonable. Between the two militaries, the incidents of Galwan and all are still fresh, and it will hurt us for a very, very long time. The kind of betrayal between two militaries who are holding on to this area for so long in a peaceful manner. So it's up to negotiations. But as a soldier, I feel sector to sector, let's not look at the entire thing. May not, when we include too many things, Snehesh, it's very difficult to negotiate. So I feel sector to sector, we need to talk to them. And today we have the technology and this thing to monitor the lines that we take. So we are on our side of the LAC in the Kailash range. We are dominating, we occupy the passes. We can maintain small detachments there or special forces there and maybe some equipment there. But bulk of the people, I think on both sides, we must go back to the line that was there prior to April 2020. And they need to withdraw from North Bank. That is where we've suffered and shed our blood. No way we can, pull back from here and still talk of, the discussion that they want us to lead into Finger 5 and 8. So I feel we need to do some hard bargaining, but sector to sector, we can simplify the issues and then discuss. That probably will get us some, better results.
Okay, so you're saying there should be a sector by sector discussion and negotiation rather than combining everything together.
Yes. I think that will get us better, reasons to bargain and get a better result also. This is my personal feeling.
Okay, General, you've served there as a colonel. You've served there as a major general. Uh, in your opinion, how does the summer ahead look as far as India China is concerned in Eastern Ladakh, or for that matter, all along the LAC? How does the summer would it heat up?
Very difficult to say, Snehesh, at this stage. And as military people, we plan for operations, we plan for all kind of scenarios, but we don't, are not able to forecast things. But what I would say is that we certainly need to improve our ISR, that is intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. That it is getting the priority that it needs, so that if any movement takes place, we are better prepared. So come summers, I'm sure if we can stay there in winters, summer there will be no issue of staying there. We'll be able to rotate troops, we'll be able to rotate our equipment, we'll be able to maintain our equipment, and we are fully prepared to take on the Chinese aggression in this area. It is not 62, and China feels this. I think they miscalculated the entire thing. Whether it was Doklam, they saw the kind of resilience we showed and this, strength we have. And now again, they are seeing. Probably these are lessons for Chinese also, not to, push the Indian armed forces, beyond a certain point and talk peace. That is better. Soldiers on both sides need to go back to the old position and maintain the LAC in the manner that it was there before that. But come summers, I think Indian Army will be we are already prepared. I must tell you this. Logistically, no issues. Equipment-wise, there are no issues. And the motivation and morale, I'm telling you, the way the soldiers, the missile detachments are holding these passes, the infantry soldiers, the special forces, they're totally unnerved. Very, very strong. Very, very strong. Ready for anything. Even a winter war happens, they're ready.
Absolutely, and that's a very good thing to know and be proud of. Jill, you rightly mentioned, of course, that China needs to draw a lesson from this whole incident. I also feel that they probably miscalculated it. They never expected India to, stand up and stand firm. However, this incident also gives us an opportunity for the Indians also to understand, learn lessons, which of course is the fact that Chinese cannot be trusted. But hopefully, sir, you've brought out the elements, the dangers of the winters in Eastern Ladakh and what our forces are undergoing and what do you think lies ahead. Thank you so much, General, for speaking to ThePrint. I'm sure the viewers have learned a lot about the challenges being faced by the soldiers in Eastern Ladakh, and I'm sure so would have the viewers. Thank you so much, General, for speaking.
Thank you, Snehesh. Pleasure speaking to you. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.